but the waiting season is the hardest. But also accepting is another thing that we struggle to do. When change in our life happens, we struggle to accept, whether it's things that you can control or things you can't control. The first thing for me, when I accepted that my life is changing and it's not going the way that I thought it would and I wanted it, I saw myself step back and I was like, I can't control this. I need to accept and embrace the change and allow God to take over, because I'm not driving this car.
And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend Lungelo to the stage. Please give him a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? You look amazing, especially those in black who listened. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. It's truly a privilege to have you guys here. Young Professional Connect is finally born. I'm not going to promise you how many times we're going to do it in a period, but I'm telling you for free that Young Professionals Connect is here to stay. It was important for me to have it in Durban. I was born and bred here, lived there for 28 years. People in Durban don't necessarily do things like this. So it was important as well for it to be here. The podcast moved to Joburg just less than 2 years ago. So now I'm this national hero, but this is where I'm born. This is where I come from. And this is the ethos of what made me. What we are in KZN are people who are respectful, people who are honorable, people who are down to earth, people who understand humanity, ubuntu, ukwazana nabantu. So it was very, very important for me to come back home and show them that this national icon that trends every week and whose face is all over TikTok, every other post, didn't just come out of anywhere. And it's very, very important for my team as well, my entire team of 6 people who run the podcast. It takes 6 people to run the podcast, by the way. You guys only see me. It's all here. So that means a lot to me. We all came down from Johannesburg to make sure that this event is beautiful and it is great as it's meant to be. What is Young Professionals Connect about? It's about connecting amazing people. Young people, engineers, doctors, bankers, call center agents, teachers, wherever you are in your career field, whether you're an intern, whether you're a master's graduate, whether you are in a middle management, whether you're a senior manager, there are executives here. You'll meet COOs in this event. You meet group CEOs in this event. You will meet people who are starting out in their careers, who are young. Some who are even still studying. But the intention is that these people get to be immersed with one another, intellectually, spiritually. I think Angel will explain that properly. Because yega namapara. Yega nuk uplift mapara. You have each other here. Right? Right? I think I need a clap for that, right? Please, single and mingle here, because you guys need like I'm a parasite. No, get each other here. But without wasting any more time, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. She's an amazing sister of mine. We hadn't officially met properly before this day, but we've been talking and appreciating each other's work online for so long. She's a clinical psychologist. She's done amazing work in this community, not just in Durban and in KZN only, but she has clients from all over the country that come to her because they want their mental health to be sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, for Engineer Your Mental Health, please help me introduce Nqobile Maphumulo.
Thank you so much. Oh, hi. Oh, you guys look so beautiful. I'm going to sit because I'm nervous and I feel like if I stand, this is harder. So I'd rather just sit. My name is Nqobile Maphumulo and I am a clinical psychologist tasked with the most anxiety provoking opportunity to open up this event as a first speaker. But before I say anything on you, Lungelo, you are an amazing, dynamic person, and thank you so much for being able to bring such amazing people in the same space. Thank you, it really just speaks to your hearts. It speaks to, I think when I look at this room and the fact that so many people showed up today to support you, it really is just a testament of your heart. So well done. And well done to you guys. I mean, the fact that you guys woke up on a Saturday morning to come and work out. You guys are doing such a great job. And I think, Kugoti, it ties in so well with the theme of the podcast of engineering your life. And I think the fact that you guys are here, you guys are already like hi. You guys are like already a couple of steps ahead. And the fact that you woke up today and you chose to do something good for you. I think you guys deserve a round of applause just for yourselves for that. So well done. Lungelo didn't give me any brief today. He just told me to go wild and live my best life. And that's the best brief that I can ever get. But namhlanje, I'm going to be speaking to you guys about engineering your mental health. Now, I always find, Uguti, when it's spaces like this or conferences or events, that are centered around having a clinical psychologist to say something, people usually like become a little bit anxious. They shy away. They think, oh, now Segu is kati for us to come speak about our problems and our traumas and all of that. But I'm here to desensitize that to you guys today. At the end of the day, we are all humans. We all have part of our lives. We all have a spiritual side. We all have an emotional side. We all have a psychological side. So I think it's so important. And thank you, Lungelo, for allowing professionals such as myself to debunk, so many stigmas that are attached to mental health, right? So when Lungelo told me to speak about mental health today, I don't know, why is my mic breaking? Do I just carry on? Okay, cool. I like you guys. You guys are chilled. So first I just want to unpack to you guys what is our mental health. You know, I think it's such a term it's that are used very loosely. Go find another term yet, depression. I think, mind you, everyone will just randomly wake up and say, I'm feeling depressed, but we don't understand the depth that comes to that word. So to simplify it, in mental health is basically your overall state of well-being. Right? So when we say overall, we're looking again at you physically. We're looking at you emotionally, your psychological well-being, how you process your emotions, your social well-being, your ability to make friends, your ability to sustain and grow social relationships. We're looking at your professional well-being, your ability to coexist in certain professional spaces. We're looking at all of these areas that make you up. It's like, I always say, Gusa, look at it like a car, and how crazy is it that we're at a car dealership? But I always describe it as a car. And just like how different parts of a car are needed to make sure that the car functions properly, that's exactly our mental health. So if it's crazy though how we don't always like shine the light on that part of who we are. Like, it's all well and great to go to the gym 100%. It's all well and great to read the self-help books and do all of these things, but nobody wants to speak about going for therapy, finding somebody that you can trust, that you can speak to, and all of those things. So I always say, imagine looking at it like a car with 3 wheels, or a beautiful German car, but with like a really rusty old engine. Of course it's going to be compromised. All right. Our mental health or our overall state of well-being is the internal reflection of who we are. It's the inward mirror. It's the inward mirror that affects how we see things on the outside. I did a talk recently and I described it to them as our mental health is the least visible part of who we are, but it speaks the loudest when it's compromised. It's the least visible part of who we are, but it affects our functioning the most. You can have a headache and rough it up at a meeting. You can have a little cough and be able to go for a walk. But if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling sad, if you're triggered, if you're feeling like you're just not in a good space, if you're feeling low, if your self-esteem is affected, if you're feeling all of these internal things that we can't pinpoint, physically, they have the biggest impact on how we react on our outwards. So why is it that our mental health always comes last? When it's like the CPU of the system. It's the most intricate part of who we are. And since we're speaking about engineering as well, I even like looked at it in the sense that, well, to me, and like judge me if you can, but to me, the simple version or like the simple explanation of what engineering is, Gumina, is basically someone that takes something, make sure that it's working at its best. Correct? And then as you keep using whatever that thing is, you keep refining it, keep readjusting it, trying to make it better. It's a process. It's a working process. It's a process that needs you to put something in, work on it, keep a close eye on it, see if there's any glitches, and make sure that you adjust those as time goes by. And then whatever that's like then affects how the thing sort of functions or how the thing runs on the outwards. So our mental health is exactly the same. We need to start as a system that needs input, that needs a process in order to predict the output of it. We cannot separate ourselves from our mental health. We cannot say, it comes last. We have to see it as part of the overall system. We have to see it as the part that oils the machine. We cannot separate ourselves. We cannot coexist without our mental health. We cannot coexist without our emotions. We cannot coexist without our thoughts, that affect the way in which we behave, the way in which we relate to other people. So we have to start, if anything, you can forget everything that I said today, but just remember this one part. You are a system that is designed to work, that is designed to produce, that is designed to replicate, that is designed to function. All right? Just like how you'd service a car, just like how you'd service a machine or whatever the case is, you have to understand because we need to start looking at ourselves in the same light. And if we don't do that, then we get compromised. If you're the one person who feels, Uguti, in order for things to go well, in order for things to go great, I need to put everything and everyone else before me and make sure that everyone else's needs are serviced before yourself. See me after this because then we have a lot of work to do. I'm learning that the hard way, man. I have a son, I have a husband, I have an extremely busy practice. And I went through a season of burnout, like I think a couple of weeks ago. I'm slowly recovering from it, man, because my son is 2. And if anybody knows what a 2-year-old boy acts like, I'm reading the lady's faces. Like it's crazy. And I went through this season of my life where I was feeling like I have to show up as the best mom. I have to make sure I'm there first thing when he wakes up in the morning. He has to see my face. I need to be there every single night. I need to do bath time. I need to read the stories. I need to do all of these things. I have to show up for my husband. I have to carry him. I have to support him. I have to show up for every single patient that walks inside my practice. And I realized, the more the focus was on showing up the best for the version of myself that I thought other people expected me to be, the further and further disconnected I became to myself. And then I started pouring from an empty cup. And then instead of doing things from a place of love and serving, I started doing things from a place of resentment. So I started resenting my son. I started resenting my husband. I started being like, but I do all of these things for you guys. And you crying? Like you crying for a good 30 minutes? Like, do you understand the things that I've done for you today? Like, how dare you? And then doing isn't like acting out from that place of resentment made me like a really not nice person to be around, and I think what makes it tricky when we're in those spaces is that we have time and energy to search everybody else's needs, but we look at ourselves lost. And I always say, Gusi, we have to look at ourselves, like there's a saying in Zulu that says, Gusi, iba ilento ephezulu ekhekeni. Like, I feel like no matter how crusty the sponge is on the inside, but if the cake looks beautiful, like we're able to have like selective tasting or like be delusional about it and be like, why? Because sidla ngamehlo, you know? And if only we were to learn to look at ourselves like that, to look at ourselves as lente ngaphezulu ekhekeni, so that we understand the importance of taking time to actually service you, to actually take care of you. You cannot work on into ongayithandi. It's all well and great us being here, empowering each other. Kumbaya, we're going to walk out of here and do well and start our fitness journeys and all of these things and listen to the podcasts and, you know, but you can't sustain that if you're doing it from a place of not loving yourself, not knowing yourself, not viewing yourself as a system that needs to be serviced, that needs to be taken care of, that needs to be checked in and readjusted every now and again. It's like having iskipa, like a t-shirt that you don't like. The difference between a t-shirt that you do like and a t-shirt that you don't like. The one that you don't like, so one day, like, you know, you're cleaning with it, it's just, you don't even know where it is half the time. But when you do see it, then like, you just treat it lapsy daisy. But the one that you do like, you make sure it's prim and proper. It's always ironed. It's sitting nicely in the wardrobe. You don't just wear it for any event. You know, you wear it for like those special events or those special people. We need to see ourselves the same way. We do it for everything else. We do it for everyone else, but we don't do it for ourselves. So it's not sustainable, to develop yourself. It's not sustainable to look at yourself. It's not sustainable to work on yourself if you're not doing it from a place of self-love. So today, I want us to think about engineering our mental health through putting us first and understanding that it's not being selfish. It's being self-full. Being selfish is standing on somebody else's shoulders to get on top. Being self-full is understanding that in order for me to show up as the best person for others, I need to first show up as the best person for myself. So today I want to challenge you guys. If anything, take that from the segment. We're engineering our mental health through loving ourselves. And if you love something, you make sure that it's always taken care of. Ooh, I'm actually doing very well. I'm laughing at the fact that I haven't even looked at my notes, but I'm like, Yazini, I'm rocking this. That's me exercising self-love and not waiting for you guys to validate me and saying like, Yazini, right now. Right. So there's various things, and exercises and tools that we can try to implement in our lives to trigger the process of self-love, to trigger the process of engineering your mental health. Because like I said, it's sad that we call it a foreign experience. It's sad that we associate it with a certain type of people. We associate it with a particular class of people, particular race, or whatever the case is. But it's difficult because, like I said, there's always just that thing in us where it's almost like we're wired to not take care of ourselves as much as we should. And that's why we sometimes place certain structures, certain activities to help trigger that process, right? One of the first things that I do, this is a rule in my household. We always eat dinner at a dinner table. And I come from like your typical black family. I don't even think we had a dinner table at home. But when I started a family for myself, I said, the one rule I want to do, we're simplifying this, we're practicalizing it, because I want you guys to have take-home tools of things that you can practically start implementing into your life to trigger the process of engineering your mental health. So the first thing is conversations with the people that you love. Learn through having conversations with the people that you love, the people that you live with, and hopefully in turn that triggers you learning how to have conversations with yourself. So, kwami, we eat at a dinner table. No phones, TV off. How was your day today? How's that colleague of yours that you don't like? Let's gossip about that. What did you learn today? what challenged you today? What reflections? How was the traffic? How was this? What new thing that you experienced today? What is that doing? It's triggering your ability to reflect on your day. Because as you're answering me, you're reliving it in your mind first. So if there's anything that happened throughout your day that remained unprocessed, like let's say your least favorite colleague said something that you didn't like and you just shelved it because you're in the work environment. When you're at the dinner table and I'll ask you how was work, then you're able to, and then they said this and they said that and their teeth were this and, you know what I'm saying? What is that doing? It's processing. It's processing. It's taking things off our spine. It's taking things off our ligaments, taking things off our joints, and processing them so that you don't go to bed with the same feeling that you felt when you experienced something anxious at work today. That's the first thing that we need to do. We need to learn to have conversations. Practice through doing it with people that you find safe, that you trust, and then learn how to do it with yourself. So before you go to sleep, instead of spending those last 5 minutes on TikTok, just spend those last 5 minutes scanning your body. Is there any pain that's located somewhere in my body that I hadn't realized for the day because I was so busy? Is there a headache, that I ignored? Is my back sore? Is there tension? Like what's going on with my body? Our bodies communicate with us. And that's why in most cases, you'll go to a doctor because you have a flu that's engapeli, and the doctor will say, see a psychologist, because the flu is not because there's a flu sometimes. It's because there's a psychological thing that you're dealing with and that you have to deal with through psychotherapy. So evaluate our bodies. Let's learn to scan our bodies. Let's learn to have conversations with ourselves. How did that person make you feel? I always say, Guti, yo, guys, God snapped when he made the brain, because there's so many things that he gave us and so many tools that he gave us that we don't use. It's like, when you're in a certain environment and just feel icky and you can't pinpoint it, but you just start feeling, and that's your spirit telling you that there's something that's going on that you either need to process, think about, look at, whatever the case is. So imagine if you're not going to process whatever that is, you're taking that feeling home with you. And then you get home and you're irritable and you don't understand why am I feeling so frustrated? Why? Because there's so many things that we're carrying that are unprocessed that keep on affecting the way in which we're functioning. All right? So have conversations with yourself. See yourself. Check in on yourself. Check in on the people that are around you. See if there's a mole that's developed that wasn't there. See if there's a rash that developed that wasn't there. Check if there's any pain that wasn't there, consistent pain that you've been feeling that you haven't dealt with. Look at all of those things as signs of your body telling you, there's something wrong. Another thing that we need to do as well, I teach the concept of mindfulness quite a lot. I wrote a book about it as well, where I teach people the art of being mindful about themselves, where you're not worrying about anything and everyone else just for a split second, and you're just looking at yourself. And there's certain activities that help, again, facilitate that state of mindfulness. And that's why I got started with a physical class today. Being physically aware of your body, what your body can do, what your body is capable of. Yoga. Walking, taking a walk by the beach. Yes, there's something so beautiful about walking and having conversations with yourself in your mind. Relaxing, spa dates, meditation, music, praise and worship music or dance music, whatever the case is. All of those things, if you were to start strategically using those things as tools, then you really start reaping the benefits of it, where you're no longer just going for a walk anymore, but you're consciously going for a walk to search yourself, to check up on yourself, to test your body and test your body's limits. All of these things. So a lot of people will preach about these things, but they won't make you understand the importance or the why you need to do these things. And that's where I want to come in today. Everyone says go for a walk and go for yoga, but why are we doing those? So that we listen to ourselves, so that you check the system for any glitches. And once we're able to hear ourselves and see ourselves, then we're able to attend to our needs in real time. All right? So I'm going to do a short little exercise with you guys. I promise you, it's none of that therapy voodoo that you guys see on TV. This is chill vibes. All eyes on me. You are not, if you turn, Nkosi yami, angazi ngizokwenza njani. Just all eyes on me, guys. Please be trustworthy. All eyes on me. I want to teach you guys something. How many of you guys noticed that as you enter from this side, there's a painting? Don't look, I see you, ngakubamba. Can someone tell me what the color of that painting is? Right. How many of you noticed that when you walked in, there's artwork puzzle? There's a specific artwork that has two cars. You're looking around. That has two cars. Can somebody tell me what is the color of those cars? Ziyakhala, guys. Yes. Black. Black hand? Okay, black. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Shine. Yay. Okay, I'm not gonna go any further because but the purpose of this exercise is to teach you guys you're at BMW Mhlanga. In a nice place. And you guys haven't even taken it in. Benchachile. Benileti. You haven't even taken it in. It's such a beautiful space. And you guys haven't even taken it in. How sad. How sad. And to think we do that with ourselves as well. It's the rush of what I need to show. I need to, it's traffic. You know? But you haven't even taken a moment to just fully just be in you. You know? So, I really hope this activity sits with you. The painting is blue. It's over there. I really hope I hope that this activity sits with you guys and teaches you life will go on. Life will the sun will rise and it will set again. However, you can't afford to miss out on you. You cannot afford to miss out on yourself. You cannot afford to be in a rush when it comes to you. You cannot afford to not take it seriously enough when it comes to you. So let's take care of ourselves today. From today, let's take care of ourselves. Be intentional. Be in the moment. Look at the person next to you. Greet them. Hi, how are you? This is my name. Look at the space that you're around. Take in the weather. Take in the views. Whatever the case is, be intentional. Be present. Show up for yourself in this very moment. If you can learn to do it for yourself now, take that home with you. Remember, you're a system that constantly needs to be checked and evaluated. Thank you so much.
Nozipho Ntshangase is a multifaceted digital creator, entrepreneur, and influential mom content creator with a strong academic background in psychology, holding a BA degree in the field. Her knowledge in psychology informs her thoughtful, relatable content and her ability to connect deeply with her audience. A proud and devoted mother of 8. Including a set of twins, Nozipho places family at the heart of her brand, both online in her everyday life. Her authenticity and engaging storytelling have earned her a loyal following across all digital platforms. She rose to prominence through her appearance in season 2 of the hit series on Showmax, The Mommy Club, further cementing her status in the digital space. She's also the host of award-nominated podcast Life Lately with Nozipho, where she shares her real-life reflections on motherhood, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome my friend and beautiful sister, Nozipho Ntshangase. Look at you.
Morning. Oh my God, Lungelo. Stop. Okay, so thank you all for taking the time to be here this morning. I know that we all have busy lives, and just you reserving us to join us today and help my friend see this vision I deny it through has been great, seeing him plan this and see it really happen and become such a success. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so I don't want to go off script because I'm a planner, so you will pardon me for having a look at my notes. So a while back, someone gave me a message that Surisha needed to see me. And when we met, she was first of all like, girl, those bags in your eyes. No. It was so great to see someone actually come from a loving place and tell me, you need to check in on yourself, because we don't do that. I had bad eyes. I went in the car that day. I was like, oh, mama, bags ha. And I'd been probably spent almost 2 years of just crying and draining myself, but still giving to my kids from a very empty cup. So with that friend of mine having to pose a question to me saying, when last did you check in on yourself? I want to pose the question to you today. Before we leave here, how often do you check on yourself? With the same consistency and same energy that we track our Uber deliveries, emails, that package that you ordered online and you just keep tracking it, when is it arriving? When last did you check in on yourself? So engineer your life is, well, engineering is hard. Okay, I studied engineering, by the way. I dropped in second year. I was like, this is not for me. So kudos, my friend. But when you speak about engineering, you speak about design and you speak about being intentional. And I don't think I've ever met an engineer that's not smart. I was married to an engineer for a long time, and with everything we did, he would always, if you want to move this couch, he would want to measure. Measure, Lungelo, you'll measure everything. And with me, I would always be like, no, I want to check in on the kids. I want to be that mom that is always there rooting for my kids on the sideline. But I didn't realize that with everything that I was doing, I was not being kind to myself. And having to take a friend call me and say, you're not looking good. That's when I realized how much we don't give to ourselves. We don't give ourselves grace to grow. I mean, people use the garden metaphor a lot. You know, everyone that speaks has been used for centuries. A garden, which you can't plant on soil that's not okay. So the same with our lives. We need to be patient enough with ourselves while in the seasons. And with plants and flowers, again, they don't bloom all year round. They don't bloom all seasons. So we need to be very, very intentional and very patient with ourselves when we are in our season of planting and waiting for ourselves to bloom. And there are seasons of waiting, and I think the season of waiting is the hardest because you feel like nothing is happening. You feel like you're stagnant. You feel like no one's clapping for you, you know. And again, I was listening to another speaker. I'm very good at these things these days of listening to people speak. It keeps me going. But someone said that with gardening, you spend a lot of time on your knees. You're always on your knees. Uchala. Most of the time, you're not up. You're always on your knees. And for me, that reflected a lot to me. And it resonated with me because I was like, whoa, I'm in my garden right now and I'm spending almost 80% of my time on my knees speaking to God. And some days I was speaking to another friend of mine last week and I said to her, some days I don't even shower, you know, because I'm just like, today I can't. Funuglala. It's a lot. you know. So while with us being in our garden, we need to use that metaphor in our lives and remember that you're always on your knees, whether you believe in God or not. You have to believe in something bigger than you. And if you don't have that, I always say that someone that does not have the fear of God is a very dangerous person because they don't have a conscience. And for me, you have to fear someone or something bigger than you. So in my season right now, my garden is fairly, I'm still picking out the weeds. You know, you realize nothing will grow here. So I need to get the good soil and get everything out that hasn't been working, that hasn't been growing nicely. With every area in your life, you need to do the same thing, whether it's your relationship, your children, but most importantly, yourself. You need to take care of your well-being. That is very important. I cannot stress that enough. So while I'm in my garden and I'm on my knees, I speak to God all the time. Sometimes I'm just like, yo, are you busy somewhere? Like, where are you? Like, booyah, you know, like I've been waiting. But the waiting season is the hardest. But also accepting is another thing that we struggle to do. When change in our life happens, we struggle to accept, whether it's things that you can control or things you can't control. The first thing for me, when I accepted that my life is changing and it's not going the way that I thought it would and I wanted it, I saw myself step back and I was like, I can't control this. I need to accept and embrace the change and allow God to take over because, yeah, I'm not driving this car. So with that, again, comes taking care of your well-being. Because when you force something, it doesn't happen, no matter how much you may force it and pray it hard enough to say, I want this. I want this. It won't happen if it's not for you. So with us being here today, I just want to, first of all, leave you with that question when we began. How often do you check in on yourself? Check in on yourself spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. Take care of yourself. Now I think probably, I don't see people older than me here, but I think I have like the most years in parenting, and I have a 21-year-old, and I always say that he's my experience in life because he was my trial and error. He was my trial and error, and I made a lot of mistakes with him. And I also met a very patient and I met a new me in mothering him. Now, today I'm not talking about motherhood because I can take forever to talk about that. But with him, I've had kids that have taught me patience in having to learn speech in OT. Children that couldn't speak from the time he's expected to be able to speak. So with life, again, we have stages where we need to understand that my friend's growth is not going to go the same rate or speed as mine. So be kinder and know that you are on your own path. You're on your own journey. You have your own life to live. And it may take you starting over and over. It's okay. You can start as many times as you want and you need. You can always reinvent yourself as long as you are mindful and intentional of who you are and the goals that you want to achieve and the way that God has intended your life to be. So before I leave today, I just want to say thank you for having me here, Lungelo, today. And to thank you all for taking the time to be here. And just remember that you are your biggest project. Do not forget you. Be very kind to yourself. And Tanda and Nonkeni Bathlen, I didn't know that we were going to gym. So I didn't get the memo. Ngabe nje sonke siyajima. Yabo kanti sesina nefika. So ngiyabonga guys. You guys have a wonderful day and stay blessed.